Hi everyone, welcome to Teed Up. And first of all, thank you to anybody who's subscribed to the channel. It's much appreciated. Anybody who's dropped a like on the video, again, much appreciated. Today's episode, I guess you could call it, we need to talk about Dwight Howard. And we need to talk about Dwight Howard. You'll notice the jerseys in the background. You'll know I'm an Orlando Magic fan. But we need to talk about Dwight Howard, and we need to talk about the NBA at 75. There's part of this which is possibly, you could say, me being a homer, home fan bias. I think whenever you have a list where you put a number on it, where there's so many people are going to get in this case, 75, there is going to be a cut-off line. I remember the NBA at 50, which doesn't seem 5 minutes ago, which is kind of worrying. And not so much in social media because it wasn't really a thing then, but in social circles, there was discussion of who was and was not in and what that list would look like down the road. There's certain players who weren't included. So Artis Gilmore, for example, who I cannot comment on because I didn't watch the NBA in that time period. And I don't want to say that's, unacceptable, etc., because I did not see that player's career on a week-to-week basis. I've seen the Orlando Magic Instagram and the players who are not listed, and there's been eyebrows raised, include a significant amount of Orlando Magic players. So Tracy McGrady being one, Penny Hardaway being another, Grant Hill being another, and Vince Carter being another. I think in the case of certainly Grant Hill, who is one of my all-time favourite players, injury played its part massively when the Magic got him. The injury bug, he was already injured when we signed him. And really, it's a testament to Grant Hill, how good a technical player he was to be able to come back and perform at the levels he did, given the injuries he had. However, they hit at a time which derailed a career that almost would have been either the LeBron before LeBron, or would he have been the face of the league that Kobe became after Jordan, the heir apparent. Penny Hardaway, again, I can make the case and say, as great as Penny was, the injuries started and they were already, in my opinion, derailing Penny's career before he left Orlando. Again, absolutely brilliant player. The only player I believe who Michael Jordan wore a signature shoe of. But injuries hit massively and took Penny out. Do we make that case for Tracy McGrady? Absolutely phenomenal scorer. There has to be, I think, the injury asterisk that came in there, which derailed Tracy McGrady. The Vince Carter situation, I personally think that it's a big one because I think Vince Carter puts Toronto as an NBA city on the map, and his career, first of all, the length of it and what he did across that career across a number of teams, but specifically Toronto and New Jersey, warranted discussion. However, the biggest omission to me was Dwight Howard. And with Howard, I will say, I do not think injuries have helped. I think there is that. However, if you are watching this video or you are viewing it through the lens of the Dwight Howard who currently plays for the Los Angeles Lakers, Dwight Howard who played for the Philadelphia 76ers, the Charlotte Hornets, etc., that is not the Dwight Howard I'm talking about. I actually think Howard is a very effective role player in when he has this almost Rodman role for the Lakers with the purple hair or the braids, the tattoos, and comes in, fouls a lot, re-energizes, and just does the things the team needs to win. I think Dwight Howard still has value in this league. The Dwight Howard I'm talking about is the Dwight Howard who was drafted by my team, the Orlando Magic. So, why was this Dwight Howard worthy of being in the NBA 75? Now, I've captured some of this on my phone, so I apologize that I'm looking down, but some things I would like to just point out. First of all, Dwight Howard is an 8-time former NBA All-Star. He made the NBA All-First Team 5 times. He's played on he was nominated for the NBA Second Team twice and the All-NBA Third Team twice. Dwight Howard is a 3 times in succession NBA Defensive Player of the Year. He's 4 times on the NBA All-Defensive First Team. He has led the league in rebounds 5 times. He is a former slam dunk champion, and he has also led the NBA in blocks twice. When you look at those statistics for that Dwight Howard, I find it very hard to understand what the criteria would be for Dwight Howard not to be in that NBA at 75. Was it an oversight? Perhaps. Was it viewing Dwight Howard as Dwight Howard the veteran rather than Dwight Howard the prime? I'm not going to name players in there who I think shouldn't have been in the NBA 75, but having looked at that list, I can name 3 players who I think right now Dwight Howard should be on the NBA at 75 team ahead of. If this is based on some type of trajectory and wanting to get players in of where they will be when their career is completely finished, perhaps I can accept that. But first of all, when you take those stats into account, for that period of time, omitting an 8-time All-Star, omitting Dwight Howard of the Orlando Magic, it's very hard to overlook. When Howard was drafted by the Magic, he was a high school player. He was the year after LeBron James. He came into the league. He had a solid rookie season. Emeka Okafor, who was the player who was touted as his main competition when he came into the league. Okafor won the Rookie of the Year, and Howard had an impressive role. He played a solid role, should I say, on a rebuilding, there's that phrase again, Orlando Magic team, which Tracy McGrady had left town, and it was being built with Dwight at the centre, but had players like Steve Francis, returning from injury, Grant Hill, and Cuttino Mobley. Grant Hill said, as Howard was drafted, and he'd done some early practices with the Magic, this is a player who I will tell, I believe it was my children or grandchildren, I can't remember which one it was, that I played with. It was evident in Dwight's rookie season that we were dealing with, as Magic fans, something special. If we look towards the 2008-2009 NBA season, that was the season that the Orlando Magic made their run to the NBA Finals and ultimately lost to the LA Lakers. In that run, Dwight Howard was 4th, aged 23 years old, in the MVP voting. Ahead of him was LeBron James, the winner, Kobe Bryant, fair play, Dwayne Wade, contentious, I would say, that season, and Wade had a great season. I can make an argument there. And then beneath Howard, other great players in the league: Chris Paul, Chauncey Billups, Paul Pierce, Tony Parker, Brandon Roy, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, Yao Ming. So for 12 players, that's pretty rare company. Howard obviously played on the Magic, which is the same team as Shaq. Shaq being another great centre who had the Magic on their previous finals run. If you asked a lot of Magic fans who's the greatest centre of all time, most fans are probably going to say either Shaq or Dwight Howard. You might get the odd one saying Nikola Vucevic. If somebody said to me that Dwight Howard on the Orlando Magic was better than Shaq on the Orlando Magic, I could not really fault that view. I couldn't disagree with it. I could make the case for Shaq as well. I'm a huge Shaq fan, but I'm trying to show here just what company Dwight Howard was in. When he played for the Magic, he was an athletic menace. I know injuries took away some of that athleticism. He was built like David Robinson. And just if you're an NBA Top Shot collector, for example, I would urge you to go on and look at the Orlando Magic highlights of Dwight on his Top Shot moments and look at some of the dunks. Look at the athleticism of Dwight. There's one against the Celtics on Top Shot where it looks like his arm's almost Inspector Gadget, the way it goes back and he just throws down this huge dunk. This was a nightly thing. If you watched the Magic in the run of prime Dwight Howard, you did not want to go into the paint. Go onto YouTube, look for prime Dwight Howard, Orlando Magic, and if you went into the lane, if you went into the paint against the Magic, you were taking your life in your hands. Rudy Gobert right now is seen as the best defensive player in the NBA, the best defensive center, and he's on this streak of winning those successive Defensive Player of the Year awards. No disrespect to Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert is not in the league of what Dwight Howard was doing on the Orlando Magic. He was an absolute freak of nature in terms of when you look at what he could do at 7 feet tall in terms of running the floor, getting above the rim, length, blocked shots, rebounding. You cannot fault that guy. You cannot fault what Howard did. And I think over an 8-year span, Dwight Howard should have been in the NBA 75 team. That's it. If you agree, please let me know in the comments below. If you disagree, please let me in the comments below. But I'm going to die on this hill that Dwight Howard should have been in the NBA at 75 team. One of the best centers that has played in recent years in the NBA is Dwight Howard. Thanks for your time. Enjoy tonight's games and have a great weekend.